No, they're all here. She brought everybody in. Let me warmly welcome you, warmly. Oh, yes. We have to go live, sorry. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our program. I think I will observe the protocol that was already observed on the first day. But honorable ministers, captains of industry, senior government officials, our co-workers, especially in the green hydrogen sphere, welcome to the third day of our Namibian House program of events. I think we all agree that yesterday was very mentally stimulating. I think we all got a lot of new information and expanded our sort of understanding on this concept of green hydrogen. My name is Ndita Ngipondo Karobiati, and today I will be moderating two sessions, starting with this one on Namibia and our agricultural potential. We have the presenters in front of us. But I just want to sort of alert you to some changes that we have made to our presentation. Of course, we have the DG. He was supposed to do the introductory remarks, but instead we have the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Anna Shiwetha. So she'll be logging in from Windhoek, and so she'll be making that introduction. And thank you, DG, for able to stand in because she was not available, but she's now been able to avail herself for this presentation. And then one of our colleagues, Miss Emilia Abraham, she's still on her way from Davos, from Zurich. So we hope that she'll still be able to make it to the program. But other than that, everything else stays the same. Without further ado, let me welcome Honorable Deputy Minister Anna Shiwetha for her to make the introductory remarks. Leon, I hand over. Thank you. Maybe if everybody can put on their earphones, because then you'll be able to hear properly.
Yes, thank you, Ndita, our moderator for today. Let me also acknowledge the honorable ministers present. I'm not sure if His Excellency is already with you there, but I also want to acknowledge His Excellency President Hage J. Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, who gave us this opportunity to be around there in Davos. Also, Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of Namibia. Honorable Ministers present, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited member of business community, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all, both those who are in Davos and those that are tuned in virtually. Firstly, I would like to thank the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board for inviting the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform to participate in this very important event aimed at showcasing the investment opportunity across sectors in Namibia. I'm pleased to present this morning Honorable Kalesh Letvine, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, and to make opening remarks leading to discussions on investment opportunities in Namibia's agricultural sector, and more specifically in the brown fields of the Namibia Greenskin projects. At the onset, I would like to flag out the following pertinent factors about the Namibian agriculture sector. Number one, I would like to touch on the production side. Agriculture production is conducted under very difficult conditions because of the following. Namibia experiences poor rainfall. 08% of Namibia crop producing areas receive an average rainfall higher than the minimum required of 500 millimeter per annum. Occasional droughts and floods, as well as other natural disasters, such as field fires, characterize our agricultural production. The only perennial rivers are shared with our neighboring countries. For example, the Orange River is shared with South Africa. On the south, Kunene is shared with Angola. The Chobe and Kavango rivers are shared with Angola, and Zambezi are shared with more or less 4 countries. Poor soils that generally require fertilizer and comprehensive conservation agriculture practices to improve them, and only 27,000 hectare land has been identified thus far as suitable for irrigation, of which 11,000 hectares is currently developed for irrigation by both government and private sector. Agriculture production inputs in Namibia costs are generally high, as most of them are imported, such as livestock vaccines, animal fodder and feed, improved quality seeds. We experience water scarcity, especially inland, and agricultural machinery and implements are all imported. Occasional outbreaks of animal and plant pests and diseases also characterize our agricultural production. And on the plant pests and diseases, I would like to single out those that affects animal production, the foot and mouth disease, and also the locust outbreaks. Despite the aforementioned tough conditions, Namibian agriculture sector is uniquely resilient to the extent that during the COVID-19 pandemic period, agriculture is the only sector that persistently recorded growth and increased contribution to the national gross domestic product. The Namibian crop and livestock producers have been creative in finding ways to sustain their productive capacities. COVID-19 has highlighted the agency to realize the Namibian agricultural objectives of increasing production and productivity in order to attain food self-sufficiency and food security, as well as our sovereignty. The agriculture sector is still amongst the most important sectors to the nation and economy, as 70% of the Namibian population continues to directly or indirectly benefit and derive their livelihoods from this sector. The sector further continues to employ over 27% of the total workforce in the country. Now, on the marketing side, the beef sector continues to take advantage of preferential market access opportunities offered by the various free trade agreements that Namibia is party to, as well as under unilateral trade preference offerings under the AGOA and EFTA and the Norwegian Generalized System of Preferences. However, there remains an untapped potential to process, market, and/or export meat from Namibia's northern communal areas where majority of Namibian population lives. As a net importer of staple grains, Namibia effectively loses out on generating potential foreign currency by taking advantage of preferential market access offered under FTAs and GSPs. Maximizing the production potential of Greenskin projects, therefore, could potentially convert Namibia into a net exporter of variety quality crop products. What are then the opportunities Namibia agriculture has to offer? Firstly, I would like to touch on the Greenskin initiative. The government of the Republic of Namibia is offering investment opportunities in 4 brownfields Greenskin projects and 1 dairy project to domestic private sector as well as international investors with capacity to operate the scheme through competitive bidding process on a build, operate, and transfers basis. These are projects for which land is already secured by the government. Although it is not an eligibility requirement, joint ventures between local and foreign investors are encouraged and supported. The Greenskin program encourages the development of irrigated agronomic production with a target to place approximately 27,000 hectares under irrigation. The scheme sites are situated along the shared perennial rivers, along Namibia's borders where water is abundant. The investment are expected to promote the production of grains as basic staple food to reach food self-sufficiency, while allowing investors to diversify production into higher value horticulture crops and fruits. And here I would like to mention that Namibia offers production for the blueberries in the Kavango region and also asparagus in the Umsati region and others. On the horizontal integration opportunities with the green hydrogen industry, which was intensively discussed yesterday, we would like, having followed the discussions yesterday on the exciting new opportunities in the green hydrogen industry, it is evident that Namibian agriculture sector also finds itself in a peculiar times in which through horizontal integration and synergies, the trajectory of higher production input costs of the agriculture sector could be changed in the positive direction. The ammonia byproducts from the green hydrogen presents a viable investment opportunity for fertilizer production within the Namibia agriculture sector to supply affordable fertilizer in the country and also for export markets. Affordable desalinated water from the green hydrogen industry could also be utilized to increase irrigation production. Lower cost power from renewable sources will potentially improve the business cases for many primary and processing agriculture industry. And here, finally, I would like to end by calling on the investors, both locally, domestic, and also international, that Namibia is ready to embrace and to welcome you to invest in the Namibian agriculture sector, and the government provide its willingness to welcome you to Namibia. And I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Minister, for that very insightful and informative introduction. I just want to let the audience know, both virtual and physical, that the Deputy Minister will be making a very important announcement later on. So please stay tuned for that. It's probably the highlight of this presentation today. So I'm giving you a pre-teaser to that. But stay tuned, as she will be coming back to make a very important announcement. I think the Deputy Minister had a few themes that were underlying in her speech. She talked about the agroecological constraints of Namibia, and of course compounded by climate change. We know that as an agricultural producer, we face some severe challenges. And she also went on to talk about how we have been resilient and that we're still able to export high-value crops. And in fact, I think we're a net protein exporter as a country. The opportunity for greenskin production is there, especially for crops and cereals. And then she eventually talked about how she connected the green hydrogen and its byproducts of ammonia and fertilizer, that we can actually have green cropping in Namibia and be able to export this. I now want to call on Sven Time, the executive chairperson of the Althaven List Group, and he's going to demonstrate to us the resilience of Namibian agricultural producers. He's going to make his presentation, and before that, he will start off with a video, and if you can remember to just keep your headphones on. Sven, I call upon you.
Thank you, Ndita. Yeah, and thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister and Ministers present, members of the investment community, friends of Namibia. My job is fairly simple. I'm here to support and want to give assurance to potential investors that investing in Namibia is really worth it through what we have done. And if you look at the video which we will be beginning with, you will see our agricultural investments that we've done. So, and also what is the possibility not only to produce raw material, but actually add value and then export a value-added product into the neighboring countries as well as into the world. Let me start with a video. Sound.
The O&L Group is a truly Namibian company, employing roughly 6,500 people in various industries. These include the advertising, beverage, retail, leisure, fishing, engineering, meat processing, dairy, energy, and fresh produce business sectors, amongst others. The O&L Group emerged in 1919 from the early Althaven and List Bank Commission partnership between Herman Althaven and Carl List. Subsequently, the Althaven and List Finance and Trading Corporation Limited was established in Namibia on 13 May 1923. Today, with its rich legacy of more than 100 years, O&L represents Namibia's largest privately held group of companies, with revenues contributing in excess of 5% to GDP. With its purpose of creating a future, enhancing life, and its vision of being a catalyst for positive change, creating new realities and fulfilling dreams, ONL is committed to enhancing the lives of its employees, its customers, and the society in general. With unwavering determination towards fulfilling its purpose, the company's humble beginnings have not only stood the test of time, but also circumstance. Day by day, year by year, gradually transforming into the successful, flourishing operations we see here and now. The success of ONL can only be attributed to the strategically diversified portfolio of the group that capitalizes on the uniqueness of its values and its culture, and prioritizes the needs, contributions, and unlimited potential of its people.
So once again, I think we got to see some familiar members of the audience again, but starting again with 1919, that's where we started, basically until I took over in 2002. We are one of the largest privately held companies in Namibia. We are very proud of with our purpose, creating a future enhancing life. Our vision is to be catalyst for positive change, delivering new reality, fulfilling dreams, and obviously our proud history, as you can see, investing into Namibia. We're very passionate about that, and we have over 6,500 employees in the meantime, and our turnover is in excess of 7 billion now. Our history of what shows how sustainable it is in Namibia, our own profit development over the years, and revenue, and the portfolio includes, of course, the Angana seafood, the fishing side, the beverage, beers, and cool drinks, dairy, which we'll talk a bit more about it, which is relevant to this forum. Then, of course, property management company. We talked about renewable energy yesterday, the hydrogen and others. Information technology, as well as marketing. And then Hartleaf, I will also be talking a bit more just now, also relevant to this topic. And then, obviously, engineering side and retail, as well as IT and consumer data management company. So, as well as our portfolio, and a very interesting meeting also this morning where we can actually connect in a very innovative way food to various restaurants, where a manufacturing plant can be built in Windhoek, and from there distributed to the various lodges, especially smaller lodges that can't afford specialized people, and that links again agriculture to an end user, which I found very interesting. Dairy side, here you can see the picture of 25 at the moment. It's just this is how we operate in Namibia. We've been for years been certified as a great place to work, even winning first place in Southern Africa. Then performance-driven, working with the American group, together with developing skills, and there we have various joint ventures. Consumer and product insights, we are mostly doing by ourselves. Our dream is then to be 70% self-sufficient and 100% in usage for our own usage, but also 100% using own energy to making sure that we become carbon neutral. Currently planning a new factory that we want to build with fully world-class automation in there. And then we are looking at acquisitions in Southern Africa to strengthen our base. We have a very strong genetic cow herd from a genetics point of view, which are running on a fully automized milking stable, which is technology from the China, US, and Israel. And what is very important here again, I've never thought Namibia can be a place to produce milk, but I think through technology you can do anything. And I hope not, Honorable Deputy Minister, I take any of your thunder just now, but there's obviously the dams where there's a possibility, like we at the Hadap, under irrigation, growing crops and growing fodder and so forth. So huge opportunity through, if you look at the whole value chain, to the final product, which where it's yogurts and milks and cheeses and whatever it is that we produce. The second one is then the whole agricultural side, where you see where we are driving irrigation systems with solar, various technologies we are applying. The factory on top is currently being planned to be built, and there you see where it's possible to produce with the various areas various fruits and vegetables. You can see it at the bottom. Again, I want to just prove or show and support what government is saying, that all these things are possible. And here's, if you want to see it, you can come and look at what we are doing, and obviously taking on the green schemes, the opportunities that the Deputy Minister has talked and probably will be talking about. Then heartleaf. Very interesting. Our country is not allowed to use hormones and feed with GMO products, so we have probably the purest meat in the world, free-ranging and so forth, and obviously huge opportunity then to convert this into value-added products. So what we see here, again, the new factory currently being designed with the latest technology, which we will pretty soon continue. And then you see all the meat products where we use German technology, and obviously we are linked to the major retailers in Southern Africa. So we see our heartleaf operation, like similar to our breweries, having credentials like with the Fleischermeister and the purest meat you can possibly get. And also we have a abattoir. There we currently have a deal with Chinese to export, or will be exporting our lamb partly to China as well. So I think that's in a nutshell how I just want to support, from our point of view, what the government is intending, and we are doing extremely well. So anyone investor that intends to come to Namibia, you can be rest assured that the possibility of being successful is good. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sven, for that presentation, and I think you've done justice to it, which is to give that proof of concept that whichever investors would come to invest in our projects, agricultural products, there is a market for them, and it is a viable business. And of course, although we are in a desert, the technology, like Sven says, is what really would enable you to be more productive and more efficient, and we have access to all of that. Our next presenter is Mr. Mesach Mulunga, and he is going to be showcasing the possible, in fact, the array of all the green schemes that Namibia currently has, and then looking at the potential for each. And then I think then the big announcement will come later once he is done with this presentation. Mr. Mulunga, I welcome you to the podium.
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Dita, and good morning, everybody. I'd like to stand by the protocol already established as I'm going to make this presentation. My name is Mesach Mulunga. I'm the Director of Planning and Business Development in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform in Namibia. And, yeah, my presentation outline is, I have a very short presentation. The first part is really just to provide an overview of the agriculture sector, which I'm really just gonna run through quickly because that has already been presented by the Honorable Deputy Minister. and also just highlight some features of our legal and or our policy and legal framework. And I will then zoom in to the main area of discussion, and that is to present those Greenskin projects that are actually presenting an opportunity for investment or by both local and foreign investors. And I would also flag other opportunities in the agriculture sector beyond the green scheme, and that would be my conclusion. So the overview was already provided, but what I want to highlight here is really just that we, if one looks at the crop production or crop sector or subsector of the agriculture in Namibia, we are actually operating under very difficult conditions due to low rainfall that we experience in the country, and also other challenges such as droughts and floods that we occasionally experience in the country. So on the production side, crop production side, we have to meet a national demand of grain, which is over 200,000 metric tons. And our production capacity, given the context within which our crop production takes place in the country, is only limited to a range of between 60 to 80,000 metric tons. That constitutes about 30 to 40% of the domestic demand, meaning about 60 to 70% of our annual grain requirements are imported, mainly from South Africa. I should also highlight here that our grain production is conducted in under very difficult conditions due to high costs of production inputs. You will note that our production inputs is mainly imported. Quality seeds, fertilizer, machinery and implements are all imported at a very high cost, and that somewhat affects the business proposition or viability of agriculture production, and also has a bearing on the margins under which the producers grow their crops. And then on the livestock and meat industry, Namibia is fairly performing better as opposed to the crop subsector, because we are a net exporter of meat, and that is actually also enabled by access to lucrative export markets, which are enabled through the preferential market access arrangements that Honorable Deputy Minister referred to earlier. So, but then again, there we are also experiencing serious challenges on the production side, because production inputs such as vaccines, animal fodder and feed are obtained at very, very high costs, because vaccines are imported mainly from Botswana, if we're talking about FMD for the northern communal areas. And animal fodder is also produced under very difficult conditions, high costs, and part of it also has to be imported in order to make feed for our livestock. Also, pests and diseases also present challenges. Both animal and crop pests and diseases present a challenge. So, and all these challenges, you will see that later can actually be converted into investment opportunities for the sectors. Yeah, handling, processing, and value addition. We've just heard from the previous presentation. When it comes to meat processing, we have a fairly developed industry, as well as grain processing as well. We have the likes of Namib mills operating in the industry. But then I should just say that there exists more scope for a diversified and vertically as well as horizontally integrated value chain activities. So there remains a scope for further investment in that space. Marketing, I don't need to say much on that one anymore. It's just to say that as a net importer of agricultural produce when it comes to the crop sector, if we can leverage what the Honorable Deputy Minister was saying, these new developments in the green hydrogen industry, we could potentially take advantage of filling that deficit that exists in terms of grain production and fill the domestic market demand. Okay, and also take further or maximum advantage of the preferential market access that Namibia enjoys. In terms of the legal framework, I'd like to highlight 3 points, and that is that the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia basically sets the scene for the public and the private sector to actually operate within the economic space, because Article 98 talks about an economic order that is based on the principles of mixed economy with the objective of securing economic growth, prosperity, and life for human dignity for all Namibians. So, so that article, the Harambee Prosperity Plan number 2, Public Procurement, Public-Private Partnership Act, all speak to the framework that has been established in the country for all to participate in the economy. So, as the Honorable Deputy Minister had already indicated, Namibia is open to business by all. The other point I wanted to also highlight here is what is contained also in the Supreme Law, Article 95, that speaks about sustainability. So it provides for the maintenance of ecosystems, essential ecological processes and biological diversity of Namibia, as well as the utilization of living natural resources on a sustainable basis for the benefit of all Namibians, present and future. And then, obviously, the last part I would like to highlight is the issue of inclusivity, which is also highlighted under the Harambee Prosperity Plan. Vision 2030 speaks about a prosperous Namibia developed by human resources enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. And I'm specifically highlighting this one to agree with Honorable Deputy Minister when she says for the green schemes that she has highlighted, even if it is not an eligibility requirement, joint venture partnerships are actually encouraged between foreign investors and Namibian investors to give effect to this vision as espoused in this statement here. Now, this is really just for reference. You can read it up with your time. These are some key policies that define the activities in the agriculture sector and within which the activities are actually conducted. We have the Namibia Agriculture Policy of 2015, which is basically a revision of a policy of 1995. and it speaks to the need for Namibia to increase agriculture production and productivity. It also speaks to the need for Namibia to build value chains, integrated, horizontally and vertically integrated value chains in the agricultural sector in order to maximize the benefits for the economy. The Meat Industry Act establishes a regulatory authority, the Meat Board of Namibia, which through delegated powers of the minister actually regulates the industry with a view to stabilize the economic activities and also further the benefits of livestock producers in the country. And then we also have others, which I'll just mention, the seed policy, Greenskin policy, which also is aligned to the Namibia Agriculture Policy, Water Resources Management Act, to ensure that, the utilization of water resources is done on a sustainable basis, and it is also done without compromising the safety of human health. The National Land Policy, from which we also then have the Agricultural Commercial Land Reform Act and the Communal Land Reform Act. And I think these are really just for reference and to indicate that there is a framework under which agriculture is conducted in Namibia. And then we have also other FDI opportunities in the green schemes or the green field schemes of the green scheme. In addition to, I'll start with the brownfields. Sorry, this is actually the focus of my presentation today. I'm going to take you through 4+1 projects that are ready for investment through foreign direct investment, and these are we call them brownfields. Basically, what it means is that these are the potential green schemes that Namibia is offering to investors or foreign investors, which are not developed at all. So investment into these projects is going to start from zero. So we have 4 such brownfield green schemes, and then we also have a partially developed green scheme, which is the dairy. I will talk about that one later. Okay, now the first one I'd like to highlight here is called the Katima Mulilo Licelo Green Scheme project. Now, for this one, there is a partial development that was done by the ministry or by government, and this is in as far as the clearing of the land, the fencing thereof is concerned. We have cleared the land or debushed the land, and we have also fenced it off. But then, the next or the following stages of development would then have to be undertaken by the investor. It is a project we are proposing, or it's actually the opportunity is development of 2,000 hectares irrigation area for production of maize, wheat, and vegetables. It is a project that is situated in the Zambezi region of Namibia. And the financial proposal here is 370,000 Namibian dollars. So the site is already identified, a feasibility study and environmental impact assessment study are already completed. and we also have the designs ready. Talking about designs, I should also point out that it's not cast in stone. There is an element of flexibility depending on what the investor wants to propose when they respond to requests for proposal. So that is one of them. It's one of the brownfields. Then we have the second one called the Zone Greenskin project. It's also we are also proposing development of a 2,000 hectare irrigation area, and here the products we are looking at is animal fodder, animal feed, maize, and vegetables. The project is situated in the Kavango West region. And in terms of the technical proposal, we have a feasibility study completed for the project. And the financial proposition is $389 million Namibian dollars. I should just pause here to say that for all the brownfield projects that I'm presenting here, the proposed deal structure is on a build, operate, and transfer basis. And the period is to be agreed to between the investor and the ministry. And obviously, depending on the business proposition, there will be time for break-even and return on investment for the project or for the investment. And then we have the Nekatal Greenskin project. This is here we have identified 5,000 hectares of land for irrigation. Alongside the Nekatal Dam, the recently completed Nekatal Dam, which is the biggest dam in the country. And the products we are envisaging to come out of this project is table grapes, dates, maize, wheat, and vegetables. This is an area which actually offers the best conditions for crop production also. The financial proposal here is 490 million Namibian dollars. And then we have, not far from Nekatal, south, we have the Tangiscope Greenskin project, which is also, we are looking at the development of a 4,000 hectare land of irrigation for the production of animal fodder, lucerne, table grapes, date, and vegetables. A site is identified, feasibility study completed, and the project design is yet to be done, and as I said, flexible with the investor. Here, the financial proposal is 650 million Namibian dollars. And then, this is the project that I was referring to earlier, which is also partially developed. And that is the Uvunguvungu Dairy Project, also situated in Kavango East. It is the project area is approximately 350 hectares. The partial development is that the project consists of a logistics center, slurry dam, and irrigation fields for fodder production. The total irrigable area is approximately 262 hectares, and it consists of 8 center pivots. So the design of the project is such that it is designed to accommodate 750 cows and has the potential to be upgraded to 1,000 cows at full production capacity. So the site is identified, the feasibility study is completed, and the development, the partial development is about 75%. However, we still have to conclude or conduct the environmental impact assessment. The financial proposition to beef up or to complete the development of the project is 120 million Namibian dollars. And then this is really just to, how do I go back? Okay. This slide, I just want to highlight that in addition to those brownfield Greenskin projects, we also have opportunities in what we call Greenskin projects. Basically, these are projects which are already fully developed by government. Where's that slide? Okay. These are projects that are already fully developed by government in terms of infrastructure development up to farm gate. There are 6. And further communication in terms of a request for proposals will be made within the next 6 months. So I really just wanted to make that announcement. And then, just to go back to another, oh, how do I go back, Lita? Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, I want to conclude with this slide. I know that I have focused on Greenskin projects, but agriculture is big in Namibia, and there are many other opportunities that I want to just flag and highlight in the sector. I've talked about high costs of production in the country. So, and that is mainly due to the fact that we have to import some of these products. We spend around 104 million just in the ministry per annum on the procurement of FMD, of foot and mouth disease vaccines that we import from Botswana. Now, that is an opportunity that is there for an investor to come and actually manufacture or produce vaccines, not only for foot and mouth, but for various animal disease control vaccines, both for the domestic and regional or export markets. And then when it comes to seed production, seed foundation and seed multiplication for grain products, we are fairly developed in the country. We are fairly there, and we're actually improving. But there is a gap in terms of the seed industry for horticultural produce and other cash crops, and that also is an area that presents an investment opportunity. This point, the next point, the Honorable Deputy Minister has already talked about the opportunity that exists in terms of horizontal integration between the agriculture sector and the green hydrogen initiative, where we can leverage the byproduct ammonia to produce affordable fertilizer for the domestic agriculture market, as well as for the region as a gateway to the region. Yes, basically, that is what I wanted to say, and sorry if I encroached on your time, but that is, I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mesak, for that very detailed presentation. I think also very, very valuable for especially the potential investors that are seeking to explore that area. Of course, we'll have an opportunity for Q&A later on, but right now, maybe this will be, is Miss Abraham anywhere nearby? I thought I'd give her one more opportunity, but she's not here. So I think, unfortunately, her presentation is not going to be made. It was going to look at the high-value crop potential that Namibia has as far as the green schemes are concerned. And maybe just for those that don't know, Namibia exports dates and grapes, and as well as, I think, blueberries now all over the world, and just shows that the potential is there, even from the desert. I think they even taste much sweeter just because they're from the desert. Without further ado, and maybe just before we conclude on this program, I would like now to invite the Deputy Minister, Honorable Anna Shiweda, to make her announcement. Leon? Honorable Minister?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Moderator. And I would like to thank the two experts who have presented the current situation in the agricultural sector of Namibia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we have heard from the two experts, Namibia is indeed a land of abundant opportunities. And as our president always, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, always explained throughout maybe this week and always here at home, we are and remain open for business. We are a country of, first of all, political stability, safety, security, and good governance. We are therefore looking to continue working with our current investors, such as O&L, who have presented here today, and many other current large and small-scale producers in the agriculture sector. We are equally looking forward to welcoming new domestic and foreign investors who might find Namibia as a great land to invest and develop. And I think we are, as presented by Mr. Mulunga and by Mr. Sven Tiam. That's a mouthful. As a nation, we believe having a good blend of domestic and foreign investors, which is a recipe for a thriving economy. Each of these two types of investors have something unique to offer to the nation. Domestic investors have the love and heart of Namibia. They are forever fully invested in the country and will continue to redeploy and reinvest their earnings, or at least a significant portion of it locally. On the other hand, foreign investors with proven business concepts, technological know-how, demonstrated value addition capacity, and market access will open doors for us in international markets and help us build the much needed capacity in our country. Our nation needs to move beyond production to agro-processing. That's where the value lies. This might require expertise and experience that we do not currently have, but will at the same time open new employment opportunities for our graduates who are currently underserved by the existing employment opportunities in the country. In fact, according to the Namibia statistic agents, only 20% of employed Namibians have vocation training or other forms of tertiary qualification. This means that either our country is not producing graduates or it is struggling to produce employment opportunities for our graduates, or both. Whatever one it is, now is the time for call to action to both the government and the private sector leaders to work hand in hand to solve this challenge. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, today on behalf of His Excellency, my President and Minister, I'm proud to announce that the government of the Republic of Namibia is taking one step in this regard. We are doing so by offering our hand and inviting the private sector, both locally and internationally, to take our hand and solve some of the challenges facing our people and country. As explained earlier, we are offering investment opportunity in 4 brownfield greens scheme projects and 1 dairy project to domestic private sector as well as international investors with demonstrated capacity to operate the schemes through competitive bidding process. These green scheme projects, as indicated by Mr. Mulunga earlier on, are Katima Licelo Green Scheme in Zambezi region, Zone Green Scheme Project in Kavango West, Negatal Dam Green Scheme Project in Karas region, Tangiscope Green Scheme Project in Karas region, and Vungu Vungu Dairy Project in Kavango East region, which is, we call them greenfield projects because Vungu Vungu has been in operation for some years, but was under immense renovation. While the dairy project is offered on a lease basis, the 4 brown green schemes are available on a build, operate, and transfer basis. These are projects for which land is already secured. I further would like to announce that our first invitation for pre-qualification for dairy project will be published this Friday, the 27th of May, 2022. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, therefore, I wish to reiterate that the government of the Republic of Namibia is ready to welcome interested foreign as well as domestic investors to explore businesses, opportunities that our country has to offer in the agriculture and other related sectors. We are looking forward to receiving you in Namibia and to facilitating your business expeditions. With these few remarks, I have now the honor to officially launch the RFP for the leasing of government green scheme schemes. And with that said, I would like to thank you for your kind attention and to welcome you to Namibia very soon. Thank you very much.
There we have it. Thank you so much, Deputy Minister. I think the moment we've all been waiting for, and that was the launch of the RFPs, specifically the one for the pre-qualification that will be launched this Friday, and then the rest subsequently thereafter. I think on that note, maybe if there's a question or two, if there's any, I would like to open the floor for any questions, if there's any. No? No, apparently no, we don't have time for questions. But of course, Mr. Mulunga is here, Mr. Time is here. I might attempt to assist as well, and during the break, I'm here we can answer any questions that may come up. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention, and I would like to, yes, I think maybe once more help me to upload the speakers that we've had, and then we see each other for the next session. Thank you very much.